Good evening, Joe Vodvarka here for LiveWeatherBlogs.com. First of all, let's take a look at our warm front we have for tonight. It currently stretches across Lake Erie and then goes southeast to Pennsylvania, stream eastern West Virginia, and Maryland. Along it we do have an area of moderate to heavy rainfall that is sliding east-northeast right now along it, and with that what's happening is it is starting to weaken as it hits the mountains. That is typical. As it hits the upslope and downslopes to the mountains, it tends to get some downdrafts and it weakens the cloud structures and the moisture with it. We also do have some thunderstorms here back across Bedford County, Pennsylvania. Got another one here in West Virginia, actually a few, and some moving into Virginia. They're not going to affect our area. If they do, they will remain south of the Mason-Dixon line and south of the Philadelphia region. Now let's take a closer look at radar. You can see we do have one storm that was trying to get its act together earlier. It's struggling to do so. It's the one right here. We zoom in, we'll take a look at it. It's cell K5. It's not going to get strong because we're only dealing with elevated instability. And the elevated instability, it's not impressive, but it's fairly decent. And the most unstable cape, that's not impressive at all. That wouldn't really support much of a threat. And let's take a look at it now. You got 500 MU cape, or most unstable cape as it's called, across northeastern Ohio and northwestern Pennsylvania. Then you got some elevated instability. If you look back here across the Midwest, we got some real nice most unstable cape, 2,000 values in Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, even some 1,000 reaching into Indiana. That's not a worry to us for now. That's what we'll be focusing on tomorrow night, primarily as most unstable cape and elevated instability is a good indicator for lightning with nighttime storms. Now let's take a look at the lightning with these storms across southern and central Pennsylvania. There's a fairly decent amount of lightning. There's actually almost more lightning with these storms than there are with the storms across the Midwest. That will soon change though, as these storms weaken and the ones in the Midwest continue to get stronger. Now let's take a look at the SPCWRF. You can see it had the bands developing along the warm front as it moves east-northeast, and then as it got to us, it has it weakening here. That I am in agreement with. However, I'm not in agreement with this. You can see it has the storms making their way into the Philadelphia area. Not agreeing with that because, as you just saw, that is currently not happening. The question we do have to ask ourselves is, will this redevelop east of the mountains? I think it could somewhat, and I think we could see with the rain, I think we could see up to a quarter of an inch of rain, generally a quarter of an inch or less. Anyone who does see a thunderstorm south of the Mason-Dixon line, maybe slightly higher amounts, up to 3/10 of an inch. Not going to cause any flooding. It's more of a nuisance, if anything. And the heaviest amounts along the warm front, that's going to be north of the Poconos up in the Scranton area. That's where the warm front stalls, actually, just north of the New York State borderline. That's where your threat for thunderstorms will be tomorrow back in northwest Pennsylvania, as there is a C-text area. Anytime you get a warm front and a cold front real close to each other, you have a small tornado threat, as there tends to be a bit of wind shear that develops there, and even a velocity. So let's continue this along. You can see the Midwest storms dissipate somewhat, but look here, you see things starting to redevelop just west of the Tennessee Valley and Kentucky. Watch what happens. That continues. And then we got a full-blown line that just explodes tomorrow. Tennessee Valley, Kentucky, even northern portions of Mississippi. I do expect there to be a moderate risk there tomorrow. They do have a hatched area there for severe weather, which means a dangerous severe situation is likely. And you can see here, even back in the northwest Pennsylvania, there's some severe thunderstorms. That's where the slight risk is going to be, as you will have a threat for strong gusty winds and a threat for hail anywhere along this line. What we will have to watch tomorrow night is how far east this advances and how much it redevelops once it gets east of the mountains. That's our wild card for tomorrow night. That's why I think we could see severe weather Monday morning. Now we are taking a look at the 18 UTC NAM at hour 42 for Tuesday morning 12 UTC, which is just after rush hour. It has the line coming through just after rush hour, which would allow for about an hour or two of surface-based heating. It's not going to do much because I really think the clouds are going to outrun the storm itself, and which would cause there to be less heating. However, what we have to watch is, could we get any most unstable cape to set up, and how will the sweat values be? If the sweat values end up going higher again on the models, because today the sweat values went lower on the models, we're only looking about 300 to 315 for sweat values, while yesterday it was looking anywhere from 375 to 420 for sweat values. They get higher, yeah, we could be looking at an increased threat for winds. Now real quickly, let's go back on the NAM. We're looking at hour 42. Let's take a look at the 700 millibar, because I want to point something out here. See just ahead of the line, see how you have the weak moisture values? That's from when the storm's weakened. That creates, what happens when the storm's weakened, that creates a flow out ahead of them, and the clouds just tend to spread out. And anytime you get that, you get cloud cover out ahead of storms. That's not the best for any surface-based heating, but if you look real closely, right along the coastline, right along the coastline, you can barely see it. It would probably be about 3 hours prior to this, but right along the coastline, you do get some surface-based heating. That's why I'm thinking east of the Delaware River, southeast of the Mason-Dixon line, that's where the best chance for severe weather is going to be right now. Should the line come in any later in the day, then we'll be looking at a severe threat increasing for the Philadelphia metro area down towards Washington, D.C., continuing southwest and south along the I-95 corridor. Now down here in Georgia, South Carolina, yes, you're already granted to have a severe weather threat because the dynamics look better down there, the instability looks better down there. So the main threats with these storms, what we're looking at right now is strong gusty winds, 50 to 60 miles per hour winds. There could be some hail up to pea-sized hail and frequent cloud-to-ground lightning with any of these thunderstorms as they come through. Flash flooding could also be possible as we will have high precipitable water values, but I'm not really expecting it to be a big deal. This line will be moving through fairly quickly as this is a quick-moving system and is a powerful system, which usually, with powerful systems, you get the line of thunderstorms to move through rather fast. Now, one other thing I want to note for tomorrow, I am raising my predictions for temperatures. I originally thought we would get 68 to 72 degrees tomorrow. I now think we could get 70 to 75 degrees tomorrow with even 80s south of the Mason-Dixon line. Yeah, 80s. It's crazy that we're talking about this. Just Friday, we were looking at snow showers, cold, raw weather. That's gone, and already we got the 80s. And what's even crazier is, if we get the clouds to move in fast enough tomorrow night and trap in some instability and whatnot, we could see temperatures not get below 60. Reason being would be we would also have a strong southwest flow. And look at this map here. You can clearly see the strong southwest flow. They actually put wind advisories out for Delaware right now because there could be gusts up to 50 miles per hour tomorrow evening. And I think most of the region could see 20 to 25 mile per hour gusts with isolated gusts up to 30 miles per hour. That's also something else that's real interesting about this storm, because when you get a strong southwest flow out ahead of thunderstorms, you tend to get a better setup. That's the best possible wind direction we could have in our area for thunderstorms. Anyhow, that's all I have for tonight. I may try to do another mesoscale analysis tomorrow night as we get closer to the event. I will definitely have a mesoscale analysis map out tomorrow evening on the site, per se probably about 8 p.m., where we can track the event and we can nail and pinpoint down where the best severe weather is going to be tomorrow night. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Joe Vodvork of LiveWeatherBlogs.com.